All right, now we are going to look at standard form, getting standard form into slope-intercept form. So remember, our goal when we are getting from standard form to slope-intercept form is to isolate y. We want to get the y variable by itself and remove everything else away from it. So I am going to set up my I do chart, and that's just going to help me make sure that I'm doing the correct steps in the correct order. So our I do chart should have all of our inverse operations. So our first step, remember, is our exciting move, meaning our coefficient next to x gets to move with x to the other side of the equation. So we need to look and see what is happening. What operation is this? I see a negative 15x. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in the IC minus 15x. And the inverse operation will be to add 15x. Now remember, this step is always going to be adding and subtracting because we are keeping the coefficient, or the number next to our variable, we're keeping it with x. So we're always going to be just adding or subtracting in this step. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that exciting move. So I'm going to add 15x to the negative 15x, and that cancels out. And now it gets to move on the other side of my equation, and I'm going to rewrite everything I have. So this is where I've seen some mistakes, so make sure in this part you are really truly rewriting everything you see. And kind of highlight that so we can see what's happening here. So what do I have left? I have negative 3y equals, and now I have 15x plus 3. So my next move, if you recall, is the great divide. So our great divide means we are going to divide everything by the number that is next to y, or the coefficient next to y. So what do I see is happening to y? It's being multiplied by negative 3. So the inverse of that would be to divide everything by negative 3. So this is our great divide. That will always be your last step. Now remember to keep the negative sign with 3, because the inverse operation we're doing in this step is now we're separating our coefficient, our number 3, with y. That's why our operation is division. So that negative stays with the 3. Okay, then my last step is to rewrite everything I have. So I have y equals 15 over negative 3x. And I have plus 3 over negative 3. Okay, so I have a lot of different operations here. I have a positive and negative integers. So from this step, you always want to make sure you simplify your fractions. That's super, super important. So if you are not really strong in your division, or you're still semi-confused on the integer rules for negatives and positives, I would make sure that you are checking in Desmos to make sure you're simplifying all your fractions correctly. So let me slide this over. So I have 15 divided by negative 3. So if I don't know what that is, or I don't remember if it should be negative or positive, I'm going to enter that in Desmos and see what we get, which I get negative 5. So I know this simplifies to negative 5x. And then I have a positive 3 divided by a negative 3. So again, if you are still struggling with negatives and positives, or you just want to verify your answer because it's been a while, please make sure you're plugging it in so you don't get this last step wrong. And so 3 divided by negative 3 gives me a negative 1. And now I have my answer in slope intercept form, and my fractions are nice and simplified. So slope-intercept form then is y equals negative 5x minus 1. My slope is negative, oops, wrote that wrong. My slope, oh my gosh, sorry guys. I have y equals negative 5x. Okay, my y-intercept is negative 1. My slope is negative 5. And I forgot to write this first step, but we talked about it earlier. This is standard form. Okay, I'm going to breeze through this one a little bit quicker now. Okay, so same thing. I have standard form, and that is just my key to know that I am going to set up my I see, I do chart to make sure I am doing my exciting move correctly and the great divide. So again, your exciting move is always going to be addition and subtraction, and then your great divide is always going to be division. So I'm going to look at my number, my coefficient with x, and I have a positive 11x is what I see. So the inverse of that would be 11x. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract. That cancels out. And I'm going to rewrite what I have. What do I have left? Negative 4y equals negative 11x plus 32. And my last step is to see what's happening to y. What's happening to y? It's being multiplied by negative 4. So I am going to divide everything by negative 4. So divide by negative 4, that cancels. Divide by negative 4 and divide by negative 4. Remember, it's called the great divide because we're dividing everything by negative 4. What do I have left? Y equals negative 11 over negative 4x plus 32 over negative 4. So again, at this point, I hope you're seeing that, okay, this can probably be simplified. I also see a double negative, so I know that that turns into a positive. But again, if you are still unsure or want to just verify your answer, you are going to go ahead and plug that in to Desmos to verify. So I have negative 11 divided by negative 4. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that as a fraction. So I have positive 11 over 4x. And then I have 32 divided by negative 4, and that gives me negative 8. Now I have my equation in slope-intercept form. So y equals 11 over 4x minus 8. My y-intercept is negative 8. And my slope is 11 over 4. Okay, good luck doing your two problems.